I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the Zia symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures. That moves us on to item E, recognition of retirees.
I think our only retiree is Connie Perez that's here tonight. Connie, do you want to step forward? Connie has 40 years in education, 39 in this district.
Wow.
Wow, congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you for your service to our district.
Okay, that moves us on to item F, student presentation.
The students are ready.
They each pick a historical character, they research that character, they wrote a paper on it, and they have a speech which they're going to present to you today. So the way that you play the game is you step on their button in front, and so I'm going to be the button pusher, and then they will tell you all about who they are.
Hi, my name is Iristine Jane Geraldine Russell. I was better known as Jane Russell in Hollywood. I was born on June 21st of 1921. I was an American actress, singer, and model. I started in more than 20 films. I moved from Midwest to California, where my first film role. I captivated audience movies such as Outlaw and Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. I was one of Hollywood's leading actors in the 1940s and 1950s. Later on, I died on June 21st and February 28th of 2011 due to a breathing illness.
This is Miss Dinah Marcus.
Hi, I am Abraham Lincoln. I was the 16th U.S. President. I joined the new U.S. House of Representatives. I went before a large crowd in Imperial to debate the Kansas/Nebraska Act with Douglas. When I was being elected, I faced Douglas. I lived in New Salem for most of my adult life. There, I learned about law and became an entrepreneur at the age of 21. I fought at the Black Hawk War at the Illinois State of Legislators. I married Mary Todd at her sister Elizabeth's house. We stayed married until 1865. It was a good life, but sadly, on April 15th, 1865, I died at the Peterson's house, Washington, D.C.
This was Edward Hickman.
I'm Helen Keller. I was blind and deaf. I became blind and deaf at an illness of 19 months as an infant. I communicated using home signs. At the age of 7, I met my first blind and deaf teacher, Anne Sullivan. Anne Sullivan taught me how to read, write, and talk. While my parents were out of town, Anne Sullivan stayed with me. She taught me different methods to read, write, and talk. A few weeks later, me and my parents took a train to Washington, D.C. to meet a guy to help my hearing. He said it was too bad, so we had to take the train all the way back home. We met another guy, and he helped with my hearing. I was a prolific author. I wrote 14 books and said over 107 speeches and essays. At the age of 87 of old age, I died on June 1st, 1868 in Tuscumbia, Alabama, U.S.
And this is Miss Zamani Torres. Any guesses on this one?
Hi, I'm Annie Oakley, a famous sharpshooter. I started my life off as Phoebe Annie Moses. I decided to change my name after the kids at school made fun of me. I saved my family with a spot-on shot on a wolf that was about to attack my family. I also provided money for me and my family by doing what I love, sharpshooting. When I was about 16, I joined a show called Buffalo Bills Wild West. I joined the show on April 18, 1858. They would fill glass balls with glitter, so when they were shot, it would look like a firework. They'd have me shoot 2 glass balls at the same time, so I had to train myself to shoot left and right-handed. I lived an amazing life with all my amazing accomplishments. Unfortunately, I died at the age of 66 of pernicious anemia.
And this is Miss Ziani Simeone. So this project was thought up by Miss Alcorta. And all of the students did exactly what these students did. We had a family engagement here at this school, and we had an extremely...
Super cute. Okay, thank you. That moves us on to recognition of Students of the Month.
I would like to recognize the Snell Kiwanis Student of the Year. I guess if you can come up in front, can you come up in front of the podium? Ismaya Roybal is the Kiwanis Student of the Year for Snell Middle School. Ismaya has become a remarkable young lady. She carries herself with dignity and humility. These qualities are hard to find within our youth. For her, it's not about me, me, me. She is kind and shows others respect. Her expectations of herself are evident with her responsible actions towards her studies and turning in assignments on time. She is courteous, but she can also stand up for herself in a manner that is dignified and respectful. When she smiles, she can light up a room. All teachers have enjoyed having Ismaya as their student. Congratulations.
There is a $20 gift certificate in here for Wendy's. I hope you like Wendy's. And don't leave because we need to get your picture to put on Facebook.
Cobre High School's Kiwanis Student of the Year is Kiana Huerta. Kiana was the October Student of the Month and has been named the Kiwanis Student of the Year. She is a senior and will be graduating. She carries an excellent cumulative grade point average above a 4.0. She's enrolled in several honors and dual enrollment classes, ensuring she gets the best grade possible. She always works hard to make sure that she is academically challenged in learning. She is very active in school and other activities throughout the community. She's a member of the National Honor Society, the Cobre Pride Band, Mesa, Dream Makers, and Key Club. All of these keep her very busy with projects and community service. She recently participated in the LDZ Youth Leadership Program at UNM. She's greatly enjoyed her participation in that event and is presently working to help and recruit other students for this year's program. She's very hardworking, kind, and talented. She is a wonderful person and always works to do her best. Her personality is molded by her wonderful family and friends, which provide her with unlimited support and strength. She is an amazing young lady and is well deserving of the Kiwanis Student of the Year. Congratulations.
Kiana is one of our newest members to the Kiwanis Club in Grant County. So she will be doing a lot of this for her school and her community in the future.
Oh.
Congratulations.
Mom, did you get a picture so we can put her in? Come on.
Okay, smile. Got it. Yes.
Congratulations.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, and congratulations, and keep up your hard work. I have to say, I had Kiana as a 7th grader, and she was the most intimidating student I've ever had in my years of teaching. Great job. So that moves us, was that student recognition?
That was G.
Okay, so that moves us
We
on
need to
to.
delete 1H, please.
Okay. Okay, that moves us on to number 2, public input on agenda items. Do you have any public input online? No? Okay, that moves us on to item 3, action items. A, approval of agenda items.
Madam President, I recommend that we table 3F, G, and H. Also table 3I.
Okay, are there any other changes?
Madam President, can we move up the student representative report as well as the union president?
Okay, where do you want to move that to?
Right after 3A.
Okay. Okay, any other changes? Okay, so you've heard the changes.
Madam President, I move that we approve the agenda with the changes that were recommended.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, opposed, same sign. Okay, motion passes. So that moves us on to the student representative report. But I don't see her here. So that will move us on to our union president report.
Can we go down to the action items?
She was nice to you.
No, we moved them to after this. The motion was to move it to here.
I just don't have a whole lot to say this evening. Did you guys ratify the contract?
Not yet.
Not yet. Are you going to, or?
I think there are some things we want to take back to the bargaining
There's some
table.
things that we're gonna have to take back to bargain, and so I guess we'll get back on that in August.
Okay. We
Is that what
don't
you're
want to
gonna-
do it before then, or is there time to do it before then?
I don't think I will have time myself to do it before then.
Okay. Okay.
I saw the contracts. The contracts look pretty good shape. I let Dr. Spalletta know the one issue with them is that the years of experience aren't included on the contracts currently. But I think that's something we can live with until next go round. We don't need to reprint them per se, but I just noticed that the one thing missing from them was the years of experience for the educator on the contract.
Okay.
Other than that, everything looks really good, and looking forward to ending this school year and having a good start to next school year.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Lewis.
you.
Enjoy your summer.
I am planning on it.
Well earned. Okay, so now we move on to item 3B, approval of revised salary schedules, the classified.
Madam President, I move that we approve the revised salary schedules for classified.
Okay, so there's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
This came before Finance, Madam President. Mr. Esqueda, one of our community volunteers for that committee, did an amazing job on categorizing the classified staff and what that 10-cent raise looked like for a year.
Mhm.
So after meeting with Finance, everyone seemed happy with the raise.
Okay, thank you, and I do appreciate that extra column being placed there. Any further discussion? Okay, seeing that there's no further discussion, we'll go ahead and have a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same
Aye.
sign. Motion passes. That moves us on to item 3C, approval of revised salary schedules certified.
Madam President, I move that we approve the revised salary schedules for certified staff.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, discussion. I thought we had already approved the certified staff.
They're putting revised. Was there any changes to it?
Was there any changes?
I think there was like a typo on national board certification. I think that was it. A spelling error.
That was it.
Okay. Okay, any further discussion? Okay.
Madam President, we discussed in finance too, just putting on the salary schedule a date that it was last revised, so it doesn't have to keep coming before the board for approvals. I mean, if it's a grammatical mistake or something to that extent, we discussed that.
Okay. Thank you for doing that. Makes sense. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion passes. That moves us on to item 3D, approval of SPED RFP Diagnostic Services, RFP number 2023-5-08DS.
Madam President, I move for approval of the SPED REF Diagnostic Services RFP number 2023-0508DS. And this did come before the Finance Committee.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second? Okay, seconded by Guadiana. Discussion.
There was a section that we discussed in that meeting that would have, that the billing would be done on an hourly basis, and the work would be done as requested, and I don't see it on.
Is it not? Wait, the last line?
No.
I don't
See
have.
the revised one?
Yep,
Oh, okay, sorry.
look on I, as requested by district.
And the billing on an hourly basis?
The hourly basis is not, we're not able to determine that until we know until we can get all the information to do so. So that can be added later, but until we don't know the amount until,
How they bill to anticipate the total cost.
we can't really determine the hourly basis, so we can add that later if it needs to be revised, but as of right now, we cannot determine that hourly basis. We have to meet with a consultant, which is Neva Bird, to discuss what they typically charge, so we know where to base it.
So the hourly basis is actually, would actually be determined by the response to the RFP. And that would go in terms of our evaluation of costs.
So do you want it in the scope of, because when we were meeting on the finance committee meeting, which was on the 18th, you said you wanted it added to the scope of work, which is entirely different.
Certainly, but in terms of.
And it was my understanding too that it would be when you guys, form the committee. That's
Exactly.
That's what my understanding was.
That was my understanding as well, yeah.
Okay.
So when we based it off of the evaluation committee, which is when I came up with the 5 people, that's when we would determine that, was what I thought. But then from what I understood too, you wanted it in the scope of work.
Okay, good. That makes sense.
And I actually brought the scoring, because we had talked about like how it was based on the scoring. I actually brought like a sample if you guys want to look at how it's scored. And that's based off of the PED and the state guidelines. Did you want to look at that or?
Maybe we can, maybe you can just provide a copy for the finance committee next
Okay.
time. So we
Okay,
can
that's
review
fine.
it then. Thank you.
Okay. Is that it?
Yes.
We have a few more. These are next.
Okay. Any further discussion on diagnostic services RFP? Okay. Seeing that there is no more discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. I have to wait a minute for the flag. Okay, that moves us on to item E, approval of SPED RFP, Speech and Language Services, RFP number 2023-05-07 SLP.
Madam President, I move for approval of the SPED RFP, Speech and Language Services, RFP number 2023-05-07 SLP.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
A second.
Okay, discussion.
This also came before the Finance Committee.
Any further discussion? Okay, we'll go ahead and do a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, opposed, same sign. Okay, motion passes. That moves us, oh wait, that was tabled. Okay. That moves us on to item 3E, approval of increase of ETN rate.
Madam President, I think it was the wrong G that Dr. Spalletta asked to table.
We got a couple G's, sorry about that.
Oh, yeah, there is a couple of Gs.
I think his intention was the board minutes, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, sorry about that.
Oh, okay. Okay, so we're tabling the 3 board minutes of FGH. I didn't even notice that. And so we're gonna go on to the, continue with the RFPs, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. Okay, so item 3F, approval of SPED RFP for physical therapy services, RFP number 2023-05-06 PT.
Madam President, I move for approval of the SPED RFP Physical Therapy Services, RFP number 2023-05-06 PT.
There is a motion. Is there a second?
A second.
Okay, any discussion? Seeing that there is no discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion passes. That moves us on to item 3G, approval of SPED RFP, School Psychology Services, RFP number 2023-05-05 SP.
Madam President, I move for approval of the SPED RFP School Psychological Services, RFP number 2023-05-05 SP.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second?
A second.
Okay. Discussion. Okay, seeing that there is no discussion, we'll go ahead and call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion passes. 3H, approval of SPED RFP, School-Based Occupational Therapy Services, RFP number 2023-05-04OT.
Madam President, I move for approval of the SPED RFP School-Based Occupational Therapy Services, RFP number 2023-05-04 OT.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
A second.
Discussion? Okay. Seeing that there is no discussion, we'll go ahead and go for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion passes. Okay, so now we do the approval of increase of ETN rate.
Madam President, I'd like to recommend that we approve the ETN rate by 1.20 to increase our mill to 10. Regina's going to join us virtually here to explain this.
Madam President, board members, superintendent, good evening, everyone. So today the board will consider approving the increase of the education technology note rate. As you're well aware from the discussions last year as well, that the district can increase education technology notes rate without going out for voter approval. The ETNs will be issued the same way that we plan on issuing them this year. So the rate will be set. The district will collect cash in the debt service account. And then next year, we will issue education technology note in the amount that you already have collected in the debt service account. If the district does decide a year or two down the road to lower the rate, it will be able to do so and not have any long-term debt outstanding against that debt service tax rate.
Okay, I have a question. Could you explain how much, if a homeowner has a home that's valued at $100,000, how much they would be paying with this 1.2 increase?
So assuming that the district will increase about $1.20 to get to 10 mil. So if you own a home with a market value, meaning zero value of $100,000, you're paying taxes on about a third of that. So for each dollar, you're paying roughly $33 in taxes. So if you do the math, you're looking at about $40 per year.
Okay, thank you. That math helps me.
Madam President, if I could ask the superintendent to provide the reason that we are doing this.
So in order to get the waiver to build a new high school that we'd like to apply for in July, we have to have a 10 mil. We have to have 10 mil. Right now we're at 8.82.
And to go further, a little bit farther, raising this to 10 mil will make us eligible for a waiver of our contribution, at least a large part of it. We still may have to pay some of it, but at the current rate, we're supposed to pay 53%, and we're estimating a cost of about $30 million. That would be $16 million that we would have to put up. By raising the rate to 10%, we might be able to waive a substantial portion of our contribution.
So it's not guaranteed that the waiver will pay for that, but it's required in order to.
Yes, to be considered.
We have to have a 10 mil.
And Mr. Guadiana is referring to the funding for the new high school.
Yes.
Yes.
So could you explain the new waiver, how much it may cover?
So like he mentioned, the new high school is going to cost $30 to $35 million. With the new funding by the, was passed by the legislators this year, we'd still be responsible for at least 50%, closer to 53%, which is about $16 million. With the waiver, they will pay for that. That waiver will cover that. So we won't have to pay
53%.
the 53% that we would still owe.
Not necessarily all of it.
Okay.
And a large part of this is a result of what was in the findings of the Yazzie Martinez, where our contribution rate, even though it was lowered from 80 to 53%, is still cost prohibitive. And so it discriminates against areas of low income and low tax base. So the waiver is to address, provide some equity to rural districts. And it's not a fixed amount. It'll be determined by a committee.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that.
Madam President, Regina also presented to us at the Finance Committee.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Madam President, board members, if I may, like I have mentioned again, that if the district does not qualify for the waiver, the following tax year, you have the option to reduce that rate by the $1.20 without any impact to your bonding capacity or to your debt service. Just the way we have your ETN program structured, it's year over year issuance. You're not issuing long-term debt against those tax dollars. Thus, it can be discontinued at any time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Regina.
Madam President, I move for approval of the increase of the ETN rate.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
And the motion to increase it by 1.25 to a total of 10%.
1.20.
I'm sorry, 1.20.
Would you like to clarify your motion?
Madam President, I'd like to amend my motion to include approval of increase of ETN rate at 1.20.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Thank you.
That moves us on to item number.
Madam President, Sharon Miller, a community member, and former employee of the district, as a new Finance Committee member. She's been attending the last few meetings and is interested in the open spot.
Madam President, I would like to move for approval of the new Finance Committee community member, Sharon Miller. As Dr. Spoletta stated, she's attended our last couple Finance Committee meetings. She has a lot of experience in education, being a former principal of Snell Middle School, so she brings a lot of knowledge to the table.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Discussion?
She'll be a great add.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion passes. That moves us on to item 3K, approval of bills.
Madam President, I'd like to move for the approval of the bills. They did come before the Finance Committee. There was a lot of purchases for new curriculum, so I was happy to see that, so teachers can get it hopefully come the new school year.
Do we have that in our packet?
It's in there. I think it's near the back.
Oh, here it is. Okay, you made the motion, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so we have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Discussion?
Yes, I just wanted to mention that the bills weren't in the electronic version of the board packet.
Thank you for noting that. Oh, so that means David and Lisa, you don't have a copy?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't see one.
I have, I guess, a couple of questions. The 15,000 that was spent for teacher-created materials. Okay, can you guys clarify what that was for?
Madam President, that's part of the curriculum. I believe it was when Ms. Kathy Marcus came to talk to us about her social studies curriculum, certain figures of history. I think that's what teacher-created materials. And decodable readers for the kindergartners.
Okay.
You're right, Ms. Begay. It is the decodable readers for kindergarten and also the supplement readers for the New Mexico history. If you recall, the New Mexico history, they do not create that in the SAVAS curriculum, so we had to go to teacher-created materials for that material.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any further discussion? Okay, seeing that there's no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
So David, are you?
I'm just gonna, excuse me.
No opposing. Yes.
I'm just gonna abstain since I didn't see the actual documents.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so motion passes. And if we can get those items sent electronically to the board at some time, please. Thank you. Okay, that moves us on to number 4, unfinished business. We don't have any unfinished business. That moves us on to 5, Finance Committee report.
Madam President, we met on Thursday. We talked about the ETN increase. Regina joined us for finance. We also went over the classified salary schedules, revised certified salary schedules, the RFPs for tonight's meeting, and we did the review of the bills. Mr. Ryan did give us an update on the budget, and so at our next finance meeting, we're hoping to take a look at it and give some input on it. And we also discussed the golf course. I don't know if it was this meeting, but the last meeting. So Mr. Corey's going to meet with or go to the city council meeting tonight to talk with them to see if they could help us maintain the golf course.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, that moves us on to 6, Audit Committee report.
The audit committee met the same day as the finance committee, the 17th, and we met from 3:30 to 4, actually. We didn't go quite that long. We had a report that was, we engaged in with the audit committee with the auditors that are doing the special audit. And this was the day prior to that. Dr. Spaletta was there as well as myself, and David Terraza participated by phone. And also Mr. Ryan was there. The auditor gave us information about the special audit, which is at this point not public information until they complete the audit. But they did give us the time frame was not actually set yet for completion until there's a receipt of more of the information that's been requested. That spilled over into the next agenda item, which was the audit that's supposed to be taking for the last school year.
Mm-hmm.
And they will not start that until the special audit is completed. And the indication was that the special audit may not even be complete by the end of this school year. Mr. Ryan engaged in a conversation hoping to have the prior school year and the current school year audited concurrently so that we could get an expedited time or we can be in compliance with our next audit.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mr. Guadiana, do we have to send a letter to the state auditor to let him know?
Yes, we requested that happen.
So I spoke to the auditor this morning, and she said we're fine until there's a certain date that we have to, they're gonna they'll let us know. So it'll be in June.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for that update. Okay, that moves us on to the superintendent's report.
Go to strategic planning. We met last month and developed a large part of our strategic planning. Our next step will be to have the principals and the district cabinet leaders work on the action steps for the strategic plan, and we're going to do that in July. So during our training in July, we'll be working with CES to make action steps for the strategic plan. And then we'll come back to the board for another retreat to talk about the strategic plan at that point. So probably by the end of July, we should have a lot more completed on the strategic plan.
Will the board be invited to create the action steps with the admin as well?
That's something that we do, and then we're going to bring it back to you. And then if you have questions or you want to change it, then we will work on changing it. CES will be involved in that meeting too.
Is there a prohibition for the board to be present during that time and provide input?
No, I don't think so. He just said that should be 2 meetings with the admin to develop these action steps based on the things that we already prioritized in our other meeting. And then we bring it back to the board.
The advantage of having a board member present would reduce the experience of having to redo something if we're engaged in communication while it's being planned. It's not to drive the plan, but just to be able to raise concerns that we might want to see addressed if we were to see it later on.
I don't think that's a problem. I can invite the board members to both of our meetings.
I think the intent was Mr. Chavez wanted that team building to occur with our new leadership, and then for them to develop the action plans and then us provide feedback. And then I believe the next meeting, that's when we would be present with administration, correct?
It'd be like a retreat type.
First one is intended to be like team building activities with the new admin
for their school.
Okay.
That was my understanding.
So we're planning to do it with the principals the week of the 10th of July, and then with the district administrators the week of the 17th. And then we were going to come back to the board. But however you'd like to proceed, doesn't matter.
Okay. I would like to be there. I think it would reduce the back and forth at a later point.
The one with the district leaders, we're going to be doing it while we're at a training in Albuquerque. We've already made arrangements for that.
Okay.
The week of the 17th.
At the law conference?
No, it's a school administrator conference.
Okay.
But I'll invite everybody and you're welcome to attend.
Okay.
So in your packet, there's a list of all the promotions and graduation times and dates. Hopefully you can make some of those. That would be great. The next few days are going to be really busy.
Okay.
And then Summerfest, we're doing well with Summerfest. We've already got over 90 booths for Summerfest. Last year we only had 54, so we've almost doubled it already. I think our goal is to get 150 booths for Summerfest, and by July 29th we should be there. We've got about 15 food trucks. We've got a lot of music and entertainment, 25 games, and we're getting backpacks and school supplies ordered already. So we're doing well. Should be another good event.
Nice, thank you.
Staffing, we're making progress. We had a few people that said they were going to join us that have changed their mind. 3 actually. So we've got about 5 teacher openings at this point. 4 or 5 EA positions. We're interviewing for security guard and crossing guards, but otherwise the majority of our positions are filled.
Excellent.
And the innovation grant, tomorrow's the deadline for the innovation grant, so it's due tomorrow morning at 9:30. We'll also be doing a presentation with a video and answering questions after the video. So that innovations grant will be awarded for $200,000 if we're awarded the full amount to help our high school with college and career pathways. And lastly, there's a few fundraisers in your packet.
Dr. Spiletta, were you still able to help the National History Day get to nationals? I know we said we would help them with some of the expense.
We did. We gave money to both History Day and also Skills USA so they could travel to nationals in Washington, D.C.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
They still have a lot of money to raise, but we gave them a little bit.
Okay, so that moves us on to new business, loss control and safety audits.
So I'm filling in for Mr. Corey on this because he did go to the city council meeting tonight to present, to work on an MOU for the golf course. So Mr. Corey and I discussed a few months back about having some kind of an audit of our loss control and safety. So Palms and Associates came into our district as a proactive measure just to give us some feedback. So that's in your packet. There's reports from the schools that they went to. So we've given those reports to the principals and also to maintenance. Some of the principals have already worked with the custodial staff to correct some of the findings that they were able to. And then all of the principals generated work orders to fix the things that needed to be fixed in the findings. Some of the findings were easily corrected. Some of them require a little bit more work because of the costs.
Dr. Spiletta, are we going to be able to replace those fire alarm panels? I think there was a finding of a high priority at the middle school and the high school.
So we can't do it now, but we are hoping we have to replace at least a dialer in a couple buildings. But those systems are pretty expensive. So we're going to talk about that when we prepare our budget for next year.
Okay.
Do you have a timeline where the ones that were listed as high priority will be done, especially like exit signs or not exit signs in some of the buildings, fire extinguishers not mounted correctly, etc.?
Well, these things should have already been fixed. I know that we replaced a lot of exit signs and fixed a lot of the fire extinguisher mounts. Those fire extinguishers were mounted at a really high, and it takes quite a bit of time to cut through the cement and repost all that stuff. So I know that we did about 10 of them last summer, so hopefully we can get quite a few of them done this summer.
Thank you.
And in a related matter, outside of the Palms, but I think it still fits under the concern about safety, the water report for this facility.
We're still working on a plan. We've got quite a few people involved in that committee that's been meeting pretty regularly. We've discussed getting a filter, but we haven't made a decision about that yet.
Do we have a timeline on that? I mean, will it be completed before next school year?
Do you know anything about that?
The green light is sweet. There you go.
There you go. So we don't get the fourth reading back until I think July, and then we'll know if we're in compliance or not. Actually, currently we are in compliance with the water safety, so that's all I know. They also came and did a sanitary survey, and all of that checked out to be good as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. That moves us on to item 10, public input items of concern. Do we have anything online? Or just if somebody in the Google Meet wants to say anything, if there's any public. Usually they'll raise their hand or maybe put something in the chat box. No? Okay, thank you. Okay, so that moves us on to item 11, executive session. Notice is hereby given so that the Board of Education of the Cobre School District will meet in executive session for the following purpose. A, limited personnel matters as permitted under Section 10-15-1H2 of the New Mexico Open Meetings Act and threatens litigation as permitted under Section 10-15-1H7 of the New Mexico Open Meetings Act, specifically so that the board can discuss and legal counsel can advise regarding HRB number 23-04-0273 filed by former employee. B, so that the superintendent can update and discuss limited personnel matters as permitted under Section 10-15-1H2 of the New Mexico Open Meetings Act, specifically the hiring, promotion, demotion, dismissal, assignment, or resignation of, or the investigation of former employees of the superintendent. C, discussion of collective bargaining strategies as permitted under Section 10-15-1H5 of the New Mexico Open Meetings Act. And D, limited personnel matters as permitted under Section 10-15-1H2 of the New Mexico Open Meetings Act, specifically so that the board can discuss the superintendent contract, including terms and possible extension.
Madam President, I move that we go into executive session for the reasons just listed.
The motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we'll go ahead and do a roll call vote. Ms. Dean,
Yes.
Secretary Terrazas,
Yes.
Vice President Begay,
Yes.
myself, yes. Mr. Guadiana?
Yes.
Okay, that puts us in executive session at 5:58 p.m. Lisa and David, I will send you a Google Meet link. Is Lisa in there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Oh, you could hear me. Okay. Okay. I know. How funny. Okay, we're going to go ahead and reconvene in open session at the conclusion of the executive session, affirming that no action was taken in executive session and discussions were limited to personnel matters and threatened litigation.
Madam President, I move that we go back into open session.
I second it.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay, we'll go ahead and do a roll call vote. Ms. Dean,
Yes.
Secretary Terrazas,
Yes.
Vice President Begay,
Yes.
myself, yes. Mr. Guadiana?
Yes.
Okay. We are now back in open session at 7:29 p.m. That moves us on to item 13, action items.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to authorize consent to multiple representation by legal counsel and HRB number 23-04-0273-S.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay. Should we do roll call vote on these? Or just-
Yes.
Okay, we'll do roll call vote. Ms. Dean,
Yes.
Secretary Terrazas,
Yes.
Vice President Begay,
Yes.
myself, yes. Mr. Guadiana?
Yes.
Motion passes. Number 2, extend the superintendent's contract.
I'll make a motion that we extend the superintendent's contract for a term of 3 years. And under the provision that there's still a legal review to be conducted, and at which time, if it's amicable to both parties, then will be enforced. If not, then we will re-enter the consideration of the contract.
I'm going to say the school year.
And the school year, the contract would be applicable for the school year 2023 to 2024, 2024 to 2025, 2025 to 2026.
Madam President, do I have to wait to make a motion to hear a second with Mr. Guadiana's motion? Or can I also pose my own motion?
We have to wait to see if there's a second to
Okay.
Mr. Guadiana's.
I second the motion.
Okay. Terrazas. Okay, so we have a motion and a second discussion. You can bring your discussion if you want to make an amendment or propose
I wanted to propose an amendment for 2 years
2 years rather than 3.
rather than 3.
I don't accept the amendment.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, so right now the motion is to extend the superintendent's contract by 3 years. It was motioned by Guadiana, seconded by Terrazas. We'll go ahead and do a roll call vote. Ms. Dean,
No.
Secretary Terrazas,
Yes.
Ms. Begay,
No.
myself, yes. Mr. Guadiana?
Yes.
Okay, so the 3 yeses, 2 nos, motion passes. And number 3, approve changes to terms of superintendent's contract.
Point of order, I believe that that's kind of redundant in terms of the terms are going to be reviewed by the attorney. And then if amicable to both parties, will then be set forth.
Okay, so do you want to table? Should we table number 3 indefinitely?
Yes, that'll be fine.
Okay. I need a motion.
I make a motion to table number 3, indefinite.
Okay. There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, discussion? Okay, we'll go ahead and do a roll call vote. Ms. Dean?
Yes.
Secretary Terrazas?
Yes.
Vice President Begay?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Mr. Guadiana?
Yes,
Okay, so that item is tabled indefinitely. Okay, that moves us on to adjournment. Is there a motion?
I move that we adjourn.
I second.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, we adjourn at 7:34 p.m. Thank you.